King, the most merciful, and the most generous, the miraculous. Shahir Rahim Al-Akram, Shahir Rahim Al-Akram. The high praises of the Imam Zaman. Al-Akram, Al-Akram, Shahir Rahim Al-Akram. अगर आप इमेजिन कर सकते हैं कि अगर पूरी जमात मिलकर इस तस्बीह को पढ़े तो कैसी रहमत की बारिश होगी और कैसी माजिज़ाना ये तस्बीह और जिक्र होगा कि आसमान भी बरस पड़ेगा अपनी रहमतों के साथ और ज़मीन से भी उसकी रहमतें निकल कर इंसान के दिलों और दिमागों के अंदर इल्म और रोशनी, रहमत और माजिज़ात की सूरत में, तजलियात, दीदार और नूर की सूरत में बरसने लगेंगी। शाहे रहीम अल-अकरम, 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 शाहे रहीम अल-अकरम। सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह। बहुत नवाजिश। मौला हम सब की इस ख्वाहिश को और इन तस्बीहात को और इन हमद व सना को अपने हुजूर में कबूल व मकबूल फरमाए और हम पर रहम की नज़र करें। आमीन या रब्बल आलमीन। जी, हमारे साथ आज कौन है?
या अली मदद, sir.
या अली मदद।
So we are ready to start and we have the recording already started. So whenever you're ready, we can begin the session.
Thank you so much. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the great name of the Imam Zaman, Shahir Rahim Al-Akram, Shahir Rahim Al-Akram, 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 Shahir Rahim Al-Akram. मैं मौलाए ज़मान या मौलाए मेहरबान तौफीक ताहीद हिम्मत व यारी मौला, तौफीक ताहीद हिम्मत व यारी मौला, या मौलाए मेहरबान मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा। अपनी बेपायान रहमतों से ओ अल-अकरम, अल-अकरम, मदद फरमा, मदद फरमा। Thank you everyone for joining. Today's session named Adam and Bani Adam. And the reference is taken from Surah Al-Araf, from ayat number 11 through 35. There are two more references within this surah further down. Inshallah, we will cover them tomorrow. The unique lesson in this surah regarding the Adam, regarding the creation of the Adam, regarding Iblis, regarding the creation of Iblis, regarding the Hawa and Adam, and silent lesson of creation of Hawa. And then along with that, Bani Adam, children of Adam. The total creation is placed in one single surah combinedly within this 24-25 ayat. As we already started, and today we will learn, inshallah, 4 types of birth. Not 1, not 2, but 4 types. The spiritual birth of Adam, not his physical birth. The creation of Iblis, from the fire. Creation of Hawa, and then creation of the children of Adam. Physically, spiritually, and intellectually. I believe this lesson would give us a clear understanding when Allah says, we create. Only the people of the wisdom, understanding, Tawil, will be able to understand in this creation of Allah, where is He talking about spiritual creation, physical creation, and intellectual creation. For example, when Allah speaks about the creation of Adam, He says, I created him with my own 2 hands. I perfected him. I made him on my own image. I blew my soul into him so he may become alive. If that was the habit of Allah, then every human would have been created physically as such. But that is absolutely and indeed the habit of Allah for the spiritual creation. Whenever such a moment, in the example of Adam, is created, molded, fashioned, perfected, then Allah blow His nur into him or her. Because that is the habit of Allah for the spiritual birth and spiritual creation of a human, of a mu'min, of a salik, of an arif, in the example of Adam. And the example of Adam is the example of Isa. That shows that that is the habit of Allah. So when He talks about the creation, spiritual creation, Ruhani birth, then those are the actions that take place. Now, let's talk about the creation of Shaitan, as he claimed himself to be created by the fire. And he was not amongst the creation from the clay. tawil upon tawil, and tawil dar, tawil, tawil upon tawil, and tawil within the tawil. So the first understanding of this is that Iblis, Haris bin Marra, in our reference, he said that I am on the third rank, whereas Adam is on the first rank of creation. Those four ranks are soil, water, fire, and air. Adam was from the soil, the lowest creation, whereas I have the ilm, I have crossed the water, and I have the third rank of being like a fire. What he was saying is that soil is dense and has no movement and no latafat in it. Water has one side latafat and two side dense. I have the ilm and then I am made by the fire, meaning I have half latafat and half kasafat. Half I am dense and half I am astral. He was showing, or he was proud of, his spiritual elevation. But he had not reached to the highest and the final, the fourth level, where he would have complete latafat like air. He was still dense, not absolute astral. Being air, or the example of the air, meaning he was not fanafi imam. He had not received the astral body. He had not received the final stages of the marifat, where he would be given a jism latif, astral body. And he was still with free will, where he could obey or not obey. In the compared to him, Adam came from a moment like a dust. With the ilm, the water, he rise. And he also went through the stage of the fire, but in his case, this fire was not the fire of jealousy, but the fire of love. And that's how he was perfected and fashioned in the image of Allah. And then when Allah blew his soul, and to blow the soul, he received the last and final stage of the air, where he became in Nurani Jism, meaning heavenly body. No one can enter the heaven without the heavenly body, meaning physical body cannot enter into the heaven. A human with a physical body must die and receive the heavenly body before he die, so he may enter into the paradise while he is living in this world, or physically die so he may receive the heavenly body and enter into the heaven. So Adam's creation had gone one step above Iblis. As Iblis had reached to the third level, but not the fourth one, meaning the Fanafi Imam and the receiving the soul and the nur of the Imam has not taken place yet, but he was close. And he thought, because he was on the third stage of the being, he was higher than the clay, the soil, and he had all the water knowledge that he could receive. But when Allah gave the Isme Azam to Adam, and when Adam crossed all of the levels, and when he was perfected, then Allah blew his nur into him, which Iblis could not see or understand or wanted to accept, and said, how could he, who was nobody, whereas I am somebody, with the ilm and with closeness to Allah. And therefore he refused. So what we found here in so far, the two level of creation and 4 stages and 3 stages. Now let's talk about Hawa. And then we will come into the ayat by ayat, so we can see how Allah speaks about this event in the Quran. Hawa was one of the many students of Adam, or Imam-e-Zaman. And she was humble, following on the Sirat al-Mustaqim, on the steps of Adam. Just like Adam, she was on the same path. And when Adam reached to that highest level, he chose her to be his companion. Maybe physically too, but more like a spiritual journey, more like intellectual journey. She was chosen. and she was chosen by the Adam because she was closest in the journey with the Adam. And this is how and where the spiritual birth of Hawa took place, as she was the selected one, chosen one. In common, we do not hear too many praises for Hawa. She remains in the background of Adam. Matter of fact, in the Quran, the word, the name Hawa is never mentioned. But every time Adam is mentioned, and every time the Zoja, the companion, is mentioned, in that Hawa is mentioned. Again, how and what common reads is what is returned. But for us, is the batin and the tawil of what has been returned. What is returned is for all, and batin is for us. And you know where I am saying this from. I'm paraphrasing our beloved Imam Shah Karim al-Husaini, Imam of the time. So that leaves us the creation of the children of Adam. If we look around ourselves, you will find few different types of children of Adam, of Bani Adam. If we start on the top, who would be deserving to be called the righteous and true children of Adam? Those who followed on the footsteps of the Adam, and if Adam is equal to Imam in our tariqah and in our understanding, then first children of the Adam would be Nurani family. Second would be Ruhani family, the beloved spiritual children of the Imam Zaman. Third would be Ummah. And the fourth would be the entire humanity. So there are four types of Bani Adam, children of Adam. Nurani, Ruhani, by relationship, and then the common. And look at how Allah is most merciful. He has called the humanity, the entire humanity, one family, one kumbha, one group, one nation, one people. That is true mercy of Allah on the humanity. But as everything has ranks, everything, even mineral, even vegetation, even animal, then humans also have ranks. And the humans are divided into 4 ranks according to our belief. But if you keep your eye on the mercy of Allah, then we are all, every last human, Allah's kumbah, Allah's family, Allah's nation. But rank by rank, the Nurani family, the Rohani family, the Ummah by relation, and the last, all the humans. As Imam Zaman is a Nurani father to Nurani children, Rohani father to Rohani children. As an Imam appointed by Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as relation that I am the father of the nation, Muslimin, and you are the mother of the nation, Muslimin. By relationship, he is connected with the Ummah by relation as a mother given by the father. And then lastly, the humanity. As Imam is also Imamul Nas, the Imam of the people. He is also the guide. Maybe someone can say, how do we see Imam guiding the humanity? And how does he guide Ummah? And how does he guide spiritual children? And how does he guide Nurani children? But he is the manifested Nur and the selected and appointed guide by Allah himself. Imam is appointed and selected by Allah himself. So let's come and look at this ayat in detail. For a short, I have given these 7 references as you see on your screen. Now we're going to go into the detail and cover few of them today and the balance of them in our tomorrow's morning session. As this will be 2-parted session because it would be hard to cover and there is no reason to hurry when it comes to the lesson and when it comes to teaching and learning. We will take each ayat and some ayat I would go in detail and other I will just refer to it so you may understand the continuity of Kalimai Bari Ta'ala, the speech of Allah in the Quran. And we will start from Surah Al-Araf, that is Surah number 7 and ayat number 11. It is we who created you and gave you shape. Then we command the angels to prostrate to Adam, and they prostrated. Not so Iblis. He refused to be of those who prostrate. We have discussed about this in detail, but it deserves one more look, because now we are speaking directly the word of the Quran. My friends, my brothers and sisters, if you decide to read the Quran the way you should read the Quran, pay attention to some of the underlined words. In example, Allah refers to himself as I, as he, as we, as us, as them. Allah does not use these words randomly, but there is a great sign, a lesson for the listeners, for the readers, for the Muslimin. So here he says, we created. And here he's speaking about two hands of Allah as we. An example, Aklekul and Nafsekul created, which are the two hands of Allah. Aklekul in the physical form is called Natik, and Nafsekul in the physical form is called Asas. Then the meaning of this word would be that we, through the Natik and Asas, created Adam and gave him the shape, meaning perfected him. And once he was perfected, and once he had the Noor-e Muhammad and Noor-e Ali, then and then only we commanded the angels. Here the angels would be the great Mu'mineen, the followers, who are the perfect obedience equal to angels, to prostrate. All did, but Iblis. Here, Iblis is not one, but a group of people who did not accept the command. Let's take the example, and we don't have to go too far to find example. When by the command of Allah, Ya ayyuhal rasulu balligh ma unzila min rabbika, give my message, what has been revealed to you. And when he did give that message, it was not Muhammad speaking about Mawla and appointing him to be the master of all, but it was commanded by Allah, chosen by him, selected by him. So words of Muhammad were the words of Allah. And Allah said, I will save you from the Nas, the common, those who will not believe you and those who will not accept your command, and they will not be with you in this. I will save you from them. And the word is them, meaning there would be many, many who would not obey and submit to your command. So we see Allah's command is through Rasul-e-Khuda. And after the Rasul-e-Khuda, Allah's command is through Asas and Aimai Tyreen Nurun Allah Nur. So those who follow the command of Allah are called angels, and those who do not. And we saw when this command was given, very few accepted the command of Allah, the command of Rasul, and accepted Ali as the Mawla. And rest of them refused to submit, to prostrate. And this is how the tawilat are done. When we see an ayat, then we also see the events from which we can learn and take the lesson from. Allah said, "What prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you to do so?" He, meaning Shayateen, the group, said, "I am, we are better than him." Let's take the same example again. They saw themselves as Asaba, the companion, but much more older, much more richer, much more influential than the Ali. Just like that, Iblis saw himself much more closer to the Allah and much more with the ilm and the influence, as he was close to Allah, and he saw Adam as a young man, very poor, not too much influence over the Ummah, and therefore they objected. This objection sometimes is verbally, and most of the time is shown by their action. Verbally, maybe they did not argue with, but by their body language, by their action, they were speaking louder than words, that we will never accept Ali as Imam, as Mawla. And their action became very visible within the weeks after this event at Ghadir Qum. So Allah asked them, not by word, "What prevented you from prostrating when I had commanded you through Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa?" And all of them replied in the action that we are at the higher level, more elite, more influential, more richer, more closer to you than Ali. Ali was a young man, just like Adam was created, Ali was created, he was nourished by Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam And everyone knows that from the early age. Step by step, the Noor-e Muhammadi and Noor-e Ali became one. And this is how Ali's position was higher. And he was the chosen one, selected one by Allah and His Rasul. But they could not see that. They only saw his physical attire, which was poor. And they could not see his status, but only few. Allah said, then get down from here. It does not behove you to be arrogant here. So be gone. You will be among the disgraced ones. Now this event takes place in every time and every age. It's not a one-time event. Those who come close to Allah, but if they disobey the Rasul and the Aimai Tyreen, then by default, they become amongst the arrogant one. Did we not see in our history how the chosen nation of the Israel at the time of Hazrat Musa, but when they did not accept the command and when they did not obey and submitted themselves to the Hazrat Isa, then they were asked to leave their seat of the chosen nation, and they became amongst the arrogant. Because it was in their arrogancy that they saw themselves elite and high compared to Hazrat Isa. And then combinedly, when Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the chosen one, the selected one, when he came, the people of Ibrahim, the people of Musa, and people of Isa, they were given a higher stage. But when they did not accept the command of Allah, which was now with the Rasul Khuda, the chosen one, in their arrogancy, they said, we have the book and we have the command which was given to us by Ibrahim, the Musa, and Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, and therefore we do not need you. And they became amongst the arrogant one, even though they were chosen and given high stage at one time. But Allah's command remains with the Hadi Zaman. In every age, like I said, this is not a one-time event. In every time, in every age, wherever Noor-e Khudawandi and the Amre Ilahi resides, we must turn our face and our belief toward Him. Otherwise, even though today we are the chosen spiritual children. But if we become amongst the arrogant, then our end result will be that we will become among the disgraced ones. There is a one lesson we should never forget, and there is a one mistake we should never repeat. And what is that? Always and always stay with the Adam-e-Zaman, because there is the Noor-e-Ilahi and the Amr-e-Ilahi. That was the lesson here in this 3 ayat. I will stop here and then we will continue from ayat number 14 tomorrow. I believe the lesson must be learned slowly and easily, because when we hurry, then the lesson is not given properly and learning does not take place completely. So inshallah, we may have some good question from today's lesson, as it was a plateful, mouthful. Ji.